I'm Marissa Simke in for Michael Corin. Some serious sexual assault allegations are looming over the varsity men's hockey team at the University of Ottawa. Earlier today, the school's president, Alan Rock, fired the team's head coach and extended their program suspension to a full year. Our Sun News contributor, Paige McPherson's been following this story. She joins me in studio now. Paige, give us sort of the backstory of what's going on here at the University of Ottawa. And then there's another story, too, with respect to Dow. We'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk of sexual assault and misogyny going on university campuses across Canada, it seems. So what happened at the University of Ottawa is a continuation of something that happened last year, where an entire hockey team, the GGs, was suspended because there were allegations that two people on that hockey team, two of the players, sexually assaulted a 21-year-old woman in Thunder Bay when they were there on a trip.
Yeah, it was in a Thunder Bay hotel room. This was back in February of 2014. A 21-year-old woman is claiming she was sexually assaulted.
Right, by two of the players. Now, the team, I think this is a really important detail, the entire team at U of Ottawa was suspended from their athletic activities prior to any charges having been laid. So now, of course, we see that there are charges. They're of a criminal nature of sexual assault, of course, very serious charges against two of these players. But the reality is that the entire team was suspended. And now what we're seeing is that these University of Ottawa players have filed a $6 million class action lawsuit. They're suing the university president and the school itself. I'll mention the university president, Alan Rock, that you mentioned, is also a former Liberal Justice Minister. So perhaps he views things in a political context, and perhaps that's why he suspended the entire team preemptively before the charges. But even if the charges had been laid against two of them, to suspend the entire team, what the players are saying, paints them all with that same misogynistic, and not only misogynistic like we're seeing in the case of Dal, but actually sexually assaulting, or so the charges say, paints them all with that same brush.
Two of these guys have been charged with sexual assault for what they did to this woman in the hotel room. But on what grounds can the university then go ahead and, as you say, paint an entire team with the same brush, suspend them all, and now, I mean, their reputation has been tarnished. They are recognized in the halls. The students know them as such. On what grounds can the university make this decision?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. The players are saying, you know, some of them have lost jobs and co-op placements. Many of them have suffered anxiety. They can't attend classes anymore because their classmates think that they are rapists. They're, guilty of sexual assault, or they've been painted with that brush. They've been harassed and shunned from athletics, they say, and some of them were even barred from attending their own graduation ceremonies. So obviously, these are pretty serious consequences that are due to basically being prosecuted in the court of public opinion for members of this team that's been painted with this brush. Members of the team, some of them say that they weren't even in Thunder Bay when this happened, but they're all being painted with this brush. And so I think that they have a really good case against the university in this case, because their livelihoods, their reputations, I think you can make a very strong argument that certainly they've been put at risk for something that they had no involvement in.
And they've been suspended until next year, is my understanding.
From playing hockey,
exactly.
Yes.
Okay, let's go on to what's happening in Dalhousie. This is something we've reported on the network before, but sort of just, again, reiterate exactly what's going on there.
So it almost pains me to even rehash this story, but there were 13 dentistry students involved in a Dalhousie Gentlemen's Club class of 2015 dentistry Facebook group that made some misogynistic, hateful comments about women.
Well, here are some of the comments. Here's what they said. On their Facebook page, they claimed they wanted to, quote, have hate sex with some women, and they also joked about using chloroform on some of the women.
So rape jokes, inappropriate, obviously in very poor taste, and yeah, these students deserve a slap upside the head. I don't think anybody would argue with that. But what has happened is that it's been made into a huge deal. It started in Nova Scotia, where media there was reporting this Facebook group, guys being jerks, as the headline news story day after day, week after week. Now we've seen it for over a month. I mean, this has been leading the coverage in Nova Scotia. And I want to show you something. This is about how the university is reacting to this. I am an alumnus of Dalhousie University, and I received an email, I think 2 days ago, from Dal. They sent it to all of their alumni. Part of what it says is that the Dalhousie community has been shocked by the revelations of offensive and misogynistic Facebook posts that came to light in December. Restorative justice process is underway. The issue is under review by the Dentistry Academic Standards Committee. 13 students have been suspended from clinical activities and will not attend classes with the rest of their classmates. The president of the university has launched an external investigation into the Faculty of Dentistry. The Dean of Law, not in the same department, the Dean of Law, Kim Brooks, is leading a strategic initiative on diversity and inclusiveness. And in case that's not enough for you, they have a dedicated website, dal.ca/culture of respect, in case you as an alumnus need to stay updated with this story. So, okay, can we just pedal it back for 1 second? These are Facebook comments. I agree. They are in poor taste. They are jerks for saying this stuff. It is wildly inappropriate. But these are not rapists. They are not charged with anything like these students at the University of Ottawa.
They didn't act on these comments. But I guess if I play devil's advocate here, the argument is, well, what if they did? We always talk about, well, they make these horrible, horrible comments, and then we want to act before something is actually done. Did the university in this instance not have an obligation to do something about these kids?
Certainly, I think you can make an argument that it's against the code of conduct, that it was inappropriate to talk about this. The problem with this story is that it has been blown completely out of proportion. I mean, it is an absolute witch hunt in Nova Scotia. People are out for blood when it comes to these students. The thing that really ties it into the University of Ottawa story, where 2 men were charged with something, or even before they were, and they were all painted with the same brush. In this Facebook group, apparently, what I've heard from other media in Nova Scotia is that there was only about 2 or 3 people in this Facebook group who were making these rape jokes. Yeah. The rest of them were painted with this brush, and now it's ruined the livelihoods and the reputations. We've got dentistry associations across the country saying we need these people's names because they can't practice in this province, or at least we want to know who they are. We can, I think, infer from that it's because they don't want them practicing in their province. And I think the fact of the matter is, in the court of public opinion, these people have been prosecuted. I mean, they should be hung in the public square. That's what it's like in Nova Scotia when it comes to media coverage of this story. But when you just dial it back and look at it, being a jerk, being an a-hole, it's not against the law in Canada. They haven't done anything illegal. And I would argue that, the punishment here just does not fit the crime.
I guess the moral of the story is, don't take to your Facebook page and post inappropriate comments. How many times do we need to send this message to our viewers? Anyway, Paige, great to see you.
Thank you.
Let us know what you think. Send us an email at thearena@sunmedia.ca. Don't go away. We'll be right back.